When it comes to the United Federation of Planets founding species, the Tellarites are by far the most overlooked, but they still played a pivotal role in the history of the Alpha Quadrant. Like the Vulcans and the Andorians, they were a small empire in their own right before joining the Federation. And like their neighbours, they had their own unique assortment of military starships. The most prominent of these was the Tellarite Cruiser, identified in the Star Trek expanded media as the Pralim-class Cruiser, which we'll be taking a look at today. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host, Captain Jack. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. We're enjoying making these Star Trek videos, and we hope you are too. If you want to support their development, check out our Patreon via the link below. Any support is greatly appreciated. As always, please do let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, because if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. Oh, and while you're there, tell me, which is your favourite Enterprise-era alien starship? Not humanities, I mean the likes of the Vulcans, the Klingons, the Xindi, and of course the Tellarites. Comment below. Okay, engage! According to the expanded media of Star Trek, the Tellarite Cruiser was not actually an original Tellarite design. Rather, it had originally been designed by the Arconians for use in their own fleet before being appropriated by the United Planets of Tellar. By the way, that's Arconians, not Iconians. Just to, know the difference. It is unknown when the class was designed or when the Tellarites actually adopted it, but they were in service for at least a few decades prior to the 2150s, making up the core of the Tellarite fleet. At 200 meters in length, the Pralim-class Cruiser was smaller than a contemporary human NX-class starship, and even had a narrower and more compact profile as well. The cruiser had a similar shape to the later Cardassian Gallo-class cruiser, with a bulbous, shovel-shaped head and a thin beam-shaped aft section ending in a cluster of engines. The Pralim-class cruiser had a total of 6 large impulse engines clustered at its aft end, 2 primary engines and 4 secondary engines, which made the cruiser fast and manoeuvrable in combat. The cruiser was also warp-capable, propelled by a pair of stubby nacelles mounted to the sides of the forward section. These nacelles featured large, distinctive buzzard collectors on the front ends, which were larger than the warp systems themselves. Despite this, the Tellarite Cruiser had a maximum warp speed of warp 5, the same as the Enterprise NX-01, despite the NX-1's much larger nacelles. The Tellarite Cruiser boasts fairly robust deflector shields, and it features a shuttle bay with a capacity for a few craft. Modified, a 25th century of the Pralim class seen in Star Trek Online was also equipped with IFF manipulators for defensive purposes. Oh, and they could also carry Federation shuttlecraft, Arconian patrol ships, or Tellarite Adamant class fighters. Tellarite cruisers were also equipped with standard one-man escape pods. The Tellarite Cruiser had a crew complement of 30 personnel, and its interior was configured to suit the Tellarites' tastes. Its life support systems kept the interior warm, and the crew areas featured mud baths with a crew to relax in, a standard feature on any Tellarite starship. The Pralim class's main bridge was located on the uppermost deck at the centre of its forward section, and it featured a long, crescent-shaped row of viewports for the benefit of the bridge crew. The ventral portion of the cruiser's forward section prominently featured 3 antenna clusters, including the cruiser's central subspace relays. Standard configuration Pralim-class cruisers were armed with particle cannons, with the primary cannons located either side of the cruiser's nose. The vessels were reasonably well armed, and they were tough enough that the Tellarites were able to win wars against the Andorians with them. However, 2 Andorian cruisers still outclassed a single Tellarite cruiser, so they weren't overwhelmingly that powerful. According to the expanded media, in later centuries, the weaponry of the remaining Tellarite cruisers was updated to fit the times. By the 2270s, an upgraded Pralim-class vessel was considered heavy cruisers, and they were matched for Constitution-class starships, armed with phaser bangs and photon torpedoes. Updated versions of the cruiser, seen in the early 25th century, had variable weaponry, with 5 hardpoints compatible with phasers or torpedo launchers. During the mid-22nd century, the Tellarites weren't the only ones using Pralim-class cruisers. The Arconians, who originally designed the cruiser, used it in their own fleets as well. And the Xindi Arboreals also somehow got their hands on the design at one point. However, the cruiser was most commonly seen in the hands of the Tellarites, who used them as their primary capital ship class. The Pralim-class Cruiser was the largest and most powerful Tellarite military vessel, in fact, despite being relatively small, even by 22nd century standards. But the cruiser's small size reinforced its utility. The Pralim was tough, reliable, and effective in a variety of circumstances. The Tellarites used them extensively in their border wars with the Andorians, one of which was commanded by future Tellarite ambassador Graal. During the Babel crisis, the Tellarites deployed 3 vessels as part of a joint fleet hunting the Romulans' drone ship. One Pralim-class Cruiser was destroyed by the drone ship during its mission, though the Andorians rescued its crew. Tellarite Cruisers also participated in the Earth-Romulan War on the side of Earth. After the formation of the Federation Starfleet essentially took over defense duties for its member worlds, but a few Tellarite Cruisers remained in operation. Some continued to serve as warships, while others were retrofitted for other roles. One Pralim-class vessel was converted into a sleeper ship, for example. These ships continued to appear sporadically throughout the following centuries, and according to Star Trek Online, the MMO video game, they even saw a renaissance at the start of the 25th century, now used by Starfleet itself. The Tellarite Cruiser only showed up briefly in Star Trek Enterprise, and the CGI model used to depict it was actually reused from an older episode, having originally been designed as an Arconian destroyer for the episode Dawn. As this was meant to be a one-off ship, concept artist John Eves wasn't given any specifics for the design, and he ended up deciding to base the look of the ship on a rearward bonnet head sharks. This was the inspiration for the cruiser's shovel-shaped forward end, thinner aft section, and vertically orientated engine block, although Eves was careful not to make the ship too shark-like. John Eves also incorporated a personal touch in the design, a gap in the hull of the aft section. Those sorts of gaps would have been impractical to work into physical models, but when VFX for Star Trek switched over to using CGI for the ships, it became more feasible, so the franchise's ship designers had made a point of integrating gaps into new vessels. John Eves also designed two radically different concept designs for the Arconian destroyer, a wedge-shaped vessel similar to the A-Wing starfighter from Star Wars, and another modelled on a pelican's beak. The former shared the founder design's vertical engine block, which Eves incorporated to give the ship a noticeably different silhouette from the Enterprise. The Arconian destroyer was built into a CGI model by Pierre Droulet, and the finished version closely resembled Eves' original production sketch. The Arconian Cruiser was later repurposed for the episodes The Council and Countdown, which used the model to depict the Xindi Arboreal's attack cruisers. From there, the model was repurposed again, finally becoming a Tellarite Cruiser for the episodes Babel 1, United, and Inner Mirror Darkly Part 2. When the model was adopted for use as the Tellarite Cruiser, it was tweaked a little to make the ship distinct from its Arconian and Xindi predecessors. The Tellarite version of the cruiser was painted olive green, and its impulse engines glowed green, in contrast to the original brown hull paint and blue impulse engines. A large cannon that had originally been mounted to the cruiser's underside was removed, while two other large cannons mounted to the sides of the main hull were also removed, replaced with stubby warp nacelles with distinctive green buzzard collectors. The animated series of Star Trek Prodigy later reused the design of a Tellarite Cruiser to represent a Tellarite sleeper ship. This vessel appeared in 2 episodes, Preludes and Supernova Part 1. So that's our look at the Tellarite Cruiser, a hidden gem of a starship from Star Trek Enterprise. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. We enjoy making these Star Trek videos, and we hope you are too. If you want to support their development, check out our Patreon via the link below. Any support is greatly appreciated. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.